Obviously, Manchester United won 3-2 at Old Trafford in what could be a very damaging result in terms of the top four race. The way the game started, I think Man United started on top. Obviously, with that goal, that Ronaldo goal, what can you do about that? I mean, a lot of people blame Eric Dyer for it, and maybe Eric Dyer could have done more to block it, but it's just an absolutely stunning goal, isn't it? Lloris had no chance with it, and when you go 1-0 up like that, I don't think you can have too many complaints.
You have to say when a player scores a goal like that, you can say all you like about Dyer should have blocked it and he should have done better, which I can all agree with. Dyer should be getting closer to him, but you have to say a goal like that, you just got to hold your hands up sometimes and say that is just top class. That is world class from Ronaldo. It's an unbelievable strike. The way he's powered that into the top corner, it's unstoppable, I think, and it's difficult to portion blame and say this guy's at fault and that guy's at fault for that goal. Yeah, every single goal you concede, someone could do better, every single time, but sometimes there is also world class play. And yeah, people could have done better with what happened. And from a Tottenham point of view, there's always things that can be done better. But you can't always criticise all the time and say, when someone smacks one in from the top corner from 30 yards, you can't always say, oh, it's just shit defending. No, that's world-class play from Ronaldo. And that's what he can bring, and that's what he brought yesterday. Unbelievable strike, and he made the difference in that moment. And I think they probably started on top, United. I think we were growing into the game when he scored that goal. And then that set us back a bit. But again, we conceded. Every time we conceded, we responded.
Yeah, we did. And, we responded. I thought that we were playing well in terms of, I felt like in our first quarter and the last quarter, it was where we were playing our worst football. But once we got it to the midfield and then when we got it to the attack in Kulu and stuff, I thought we were doing quite well. But then once we got it into their quarter, we just took too many touches on the ball, taking too long on the ball, too slow in our build-up play as well. And I think that's what hurt us yesterday. And if we were quick, decisive actions, I really think we could have gone there and won yesterday. But I just felt everything was just a bit too slow yesterday.
Yeah, I felt there was that. How many times did we look? I turned to you and say, that's good football again. Like how many times? Like in the first half, especially, we were playing some really good football at times, opening up United in various amounts of opportunities. I think Kulusevski on the right-hand side was doing really good stuff. He was giving their defenders a torrid time. Son was breaking the lines without threatening too much, but he was getting in interesting spaces. The wing backs were getting really high. I question whether Doherty could get forward as much as he did in the previous games, and I think he did. No, maybe he didn't have the quality he had in our previous games. He was definitely
really
getting
nice
in positions
from Matt Doherty going forward at times yesterday.
Yeah, and we were like before. Maybe a few weeks ago, you're worried when Højbjerg or Dyer is switching his play to Doherty and whether he can hang on to the ball. But yesterday he was. Every time he was getting on his chest, he was winning headers, and he was getting well up. I thought Reguilon was getting in very good positions as well on the left-hand side, helping out Sonny. But it just didn't, I think maybe having Varane back definitely helped Man United because every time we got into those positions, that we couldn't pull off that final pass. And obviously we needed a bit of luck with the penalty, which was definite penalty, to get back in the game. But even if you hear the commentary from Martin Tyler when Kane puts it away, he goes, Spurs an equaliser, no one can say they don't deserve it. It's because we did deserve it. I remember saying we did deserve to go back level, and I think we were on top when after Ronaldo scored, and I thought, okay, we responded well, we're playing well, let's build on that. And then 3 minutes later, lapse in concentration, we're 2-1 down.
Yeah, I think the game did go in waves yesterday, and I think when Man United scored, we took control after that and came on top, and then whenever we would score, Man United would come back and go on top, and that was clearly evident when as soon as Maguire scores that own goal, Man United are in the ascendancy after that, and they were the better team from that moment onwards, and maybe they did deserve to go on and win the game after that.
Yeah. So first of all, the goal, the second goal. Happens 3 minutes after we get back in the game. At that point, you've got to just shore things up. Make sure you go into half-time at least 1-1. Don't concede another goal. and it's such a poor goal to concede as well. The line is perfect. Reguilón is just having, I think, a lapse in concentration, because the line from the Spurs defence is absolutely perfect. Everyone is in line with each other. You can see by the cut of the grass exactly where everyone is, and Ronaldo and Sancho are both well offside, but Reguilón hasn't stepped up with the rest of his teammates. He's the one lagging behind, and I think he has to take a big portion of the blame, because I think the other defenders can see the United attackers, and they let them run off because they can see that they're offside, and they were well offside. But Reguilón, really disappointing that he's kept them onside. And not only that, the most annoying thing is I hate when players do this, where they're the ones keeping team players onside, but yet they're the ones who have their hand up and saying,
that's what I was about to say. It's not just that he straight away is flagging his arms and arms like that, but you know, there's a moment, maybe he wouldn't have got there, but he's the one with the pace that can do that. So, and he's the one closest to the ball as well, because he's the one keeping him onside. You see Davis darting, trying to get back, trying his best to get back. Reguilón should be trying his best to get back, but instead he's looking at the linesman and waving his arm.
Exactly. It's just saying, he's offside, when he's the one keeping him onside. It's just.
And I would say with Doherty, Ronaldo does get in behind Doherty, and yeah, I know you're right in what you're saying. In Reguilón was the main culprit, but I do think Doherty should have a bit more awareness and maybe try and block the run or something from Ronaldo.
From Sancho. I was looking, but I've watched it back. He sees Sancho run past him. It's not. I don't think it's a case of he doesn't know what's happening. I think he sees what's happening, and he sees the lines. He says, I'm just going to let him run because he's offside. But Reguilón, he didn't account for Reguilón being a step behind, and that's a big shame. Obviously, then they go 2-1 up very quickly. We end the half trying to get back in the game, but obviously we ran out of time between the second goal and the end of the first half. But we definitely ended the first half with a bit of, all right, we're still in this. If we can get the next goal, we still can win this even. And I think we start the second half strong. I think we were pressing really well. I thought, as much as I know Bentancur's coming for a lot of criticism, and fair criticism as well, because I think he lost the ball in way too many occasions.
And this is a constant theme from Bentancur now.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as he plays well in games, he just loses the ball in too many dangerous
needlessly
areas.
As well. Like, there's options, and I said this before, and I'm really starting to see it now. There are times where he has the ability to drive forward. We've seen it, like against Everton, where he has space to drive into, and he's got a bit of power and a bit of pace about him if he really goes for it. And sometimes as well, he's in space in the middle of the park, and instead of looking forward for an option and taking responsibility himself, he likes to lay off responsibility to someone else. He'll play a short, safe pass and then move position. He won't take responsibility to either drive forward or look for a defense splitting pass himself. And we've already seen in his short time at Tottenham, he has quality, he has power, he has the physicality, and I don't know what it is about him. Maybe he needs more confidence in himself and his own ability, but sometimes he needs to take more responsibility on the pitch. I feel like he shirks it sometimes. He plays off someone else when he should be the one, looking for that cross-field pass, or looking for that defense splitting pass, or looking for that drive forward. He just shirks it and gives it to someone else. But I thought off the ball, I know he got done for the third goal, but for this first goal from the Fred flick. But I actually think him and Højbjerg were doing really, really well in the centre. They were really pressuring Fred and Matic. They struggled to get involved in the game. And Fred played decent, but I think how many times
that touch from Fred for Ronaldo's goal was world class.
Yeah, but brilliant. How many times were we penning them in, and then they were forced to go long, and we were just picking the ball up back in defence and penning, and we were sustaining the pressure really, really well. I think structurally, United were really struggling they did have the odd counter-attack, but they were really struggling to build up play themselves when they had possession of the ball. That's why we had so much possession. I think we were doing quite well at that. And I think when we got the equaliser, it was good build-up play. Kane laying off to Romero, into Son, laying off to Reggie, and his cross obviously ends up in an own goal. But I think again it was a good team move, and it was a good piece of play. And you're thinking at that point, 20 minutes to go, Tottenham are in the ascendancy here. It's 2-2. They're just bringing on Cavani now, putting two up tops. They're throwing caution to the wind. You know there's going to be space for you if you can get it right. They just tick off Matic, put on Cavani. So all of a sudden there's going to be that space opening up. And you're thinking we're going to go on and win it. And then again, we ceded control of the game. I don't know what it was, but maybe I don't know whether United stepped up or we just took our foot off the gas. But as soon as we scored, United got on the ascendancy again, and they were the ones who ended up getting the moment of magic.
The fact of the matter is, however you thought we played well or whatever, we were structurally good. The facts of the matter is we didn't trouble them anywhere near enough as we should have done. In the second half, we had 0 shots on target, 1 shot off target, and it's nowhere near good enough in terms of chance creation, especially as much as we have the ball. And it's something that we see time and time again with this football team. If you give us possession, we can't create, and that's another situation that we saw on the pitch yesterday. And also the fact of the matter, when you look at the goals we scored, they were lucky. Both of them were very, very lucky. Kulusevski does really well to do Sancho, nutmegs him and does him again. But, you know, Tellez sticks his arm out and that's a penalty. That's a lucky penalty. And our goal that we scored, Reguilon gets it in the box very luckily, not very luckily, but very well. And Maguire sticks out his leg right, it goes in the back of the net. But if that ball goes through, Romero is miles offside. So both of those goals, in my opinion,
I think it was
were
touch
very
and
lucky.
go.
No, I think he was clearly offside.
I think the angle makes it, distorts it. I think it was touch and go.
I'm not so sure about that. I think, well, if you look at it again, I think you can see he was offside. Maybe it was touch and go, but he was offside.
Anyway, yeah, there was a bit of luck there, but I don't think. First of all, you create your own luck, and I think, for example, Kulusevski on the right-hand side, as much as it was lucky to get the handball, he did so well to maneuver himself into across the position. I think it was for the second goal, it was a great team move to get us in the box and force the error. So I get your point. There were lucky goals, but I think again, what my point being when I say structurally, I think we were pretty good, and I just think the way Conte has us playing, and he has us playing football, like, gets us into so many good positions and opportunities. It's the lack of quality from individual players that's letting us down at the moment. If Conte had players who are up to the task, it would be a different story. But unfortunately, right now, he's doing the best of what he's got. I think yesterday was the best of what we could do. And I think when you're up against a player like Ronaldo, who can make the difference in those kind of situations, you just got to hold your hands up sometimes and say, that's supreme finishing. But yesterday, I think Tottenham... Yeah, we second half we only had 1 shot on target, but I think we, like, in terms of being in the game, like if I'm assessing a game of football, I think we more than held our own in that game, and it wasn't one of those games where we just failed sharp. I think we came back from going behind twice. We showed the mentality there, but unfortunately the players weren't good enough to get the result, and that's really frustrating. And definitely United were average yesterday. The United were absolutely average yesterday. They were completely held up by a world-class performance by Ronaldo, probably his best performance of the season as well, which is all doubly frustrating. But they were average and there for the taking, and we couldn't take advantage. But that's not because the structure wasn't there to take advantage. I think the players just weren't up to it. Yeah. And that's just reality for me. And even right at the end, Reguilon had a great chance to get an assist, and he jumps over the ball. I don't understand what was going on there.
Yeah, it is very frustrating. In terms of positive players that played well yesterday, I thought Højbjerg was brilliant yesterday in the middle of the park. I really thought that. And I thought Kulusevski, again, was our best player going forward. I mean, maybe not again because Harry Kane's been playing out of this world recently. But there was a game recently, I can't remember who it was against, where we were talking about Kulusevski being the best of the front three. But Kulusevski, I mean, he's performing every week. A player that I want to talk to you about, Heung-min Son. You know, we had a big discussion after the game last week talking about is he on form, is he off form, what's going on with him at the moment. What was your assessment of him yesterday?
Yeah, didn't have a good game yesterday. For some reason, he kept slipping. He slept like 4 times. He slipped about 3 or 4 times in crucial positions as well. And you got to think, like, after the second time, change your boots or something, because I don't know why you keep slipping. But yeah, I think first half he broke the lines a few times and got himself into really good positions, but wasn't able to get the shot off or do anything of note. Second half I thought it was a bit anonymous, and the only times he was able to do something, he kept slipping at the crucial moment, and it cost him. So I would say yesterday, yeah, wasn't a very good performance from Heung-min Son.
And Harry Kane as well. I think he really was struggling to get into the game yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah, his passing was definitely a lot worse than it has been in usually. Usually his passing is completely on point, barely gets one wrong, especially in the deep positions. But yesterday, he was a bit off it. He was involved in the second goal, did really good hold-up play off Maguire. But I think more often than not, when Maguire was coming through the back of him, he wasn't holding him off, and he was losing those duels, and that's something that he'll be disappointed with. Obviously, he did get a good goal with the penalty. It was a very good penalty, right into the corner. But he'll be disappointed with with the performance overall. I think him and Son will probably both be a bit disappointed with that. They weren't able to do a bit more damage. How many shots? I can't remember too many shots either of them had, or too many chances. They probably fell to other players. So that's disappointing. They'll be disappointed with that, and that's also probably a big reason why we weren't able to really have quality in the final third, because they had Ronaldo and Sancho as well, who I thought had a very good game on top of their game, and we had Son and Kane who weren't. That was probably the difference.
Yeah, and that was the fact of the matter. And with that result yesterday, what does this mean for the outlook of our season now?
I think it pretty much all depends on what happens today with Arsenal and Leicester. If Leicester if Arsenal drop points today, and then in midweek, I think there's another opportunity. If Arsenal win today, it's pretty much all done, I would say. Not in terms of top four, because I think United can still catch them. In terms of us finishing top four, I think that's pretty much done. Because I think 6 points with 2 games more played. I really struggle to see us overcoming that. Even if a lot of things go our way, it's going to be very difficult to overcome that. If Leicester get a draw or a win, then also Arsenal lose in midweek, and we beat Brighton, then it opens up again. Then all of a sudden it'll be 3 points. Then if then all of a sudden there's still an opportunity there, because right now it's 3 points, right?
Yeah.
We've played 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
So look, it looks terrible right now, and especially if Arsenal win, it'll be 6 points with 1 game in hand. Yeah. So that's still very, very bad.
Yeah. But 6 games to 1 with 1 game in hand if Arsenal win today, right? But then they play Liverpool midweek and we play Brighton. So if we can get a win and they get a loss, it's back to 3.
It's back to 3 with the game in hand, but then that Liverpool game's gone.
Yeah.
So
then their game in hand is Chelsea, and we still got to play them.
Who knows what Chelsea are going to be? Who knows what Chelsea's what state they're going to be in? No, but I think psychologically it's a big blow. If Arsenal win today, do we go into that Brighton game with that belief, basically, that we can still catch Arsenal? I just worry that we might crumble if we're seeing Arsenal win another game and stretch that points difference. A lot of football is psychological, man. It's a lot of it is about momentum and belief.
Yeah, but there's also a thing to say that when the pressure's off Spurs, we sometimes perform and do better when the pressure's completely off.
Yeah, it's also true. That is also true. So maybe it would help us, but we just got to pray Leicester get something today. I really do. Otherwise, our chances right now are probably 30% to get top 4, and they probably dropped about 10 if Arsenal win today. That today's result's massive.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our match review of the game yesterday. Tottenham losing 3-2 at Old Trafford.